What did I do? I
It's
just
not
broke this part.
flat anymore.
It's not
Yeah.
I think we're
Oh,
good.
did it work?
It's on?
This is on.
Does it have
Just leave it.
Okay.
We're good. Okay, cool. You can start.
We had this conversation. You don't think we said anything serious. Oh, we did have this conversation
Jim,
before.
you can start whenever.
The only
Oh, I
thing
thought
we
we
keep
were
saying
waiting.
on is like,
No, camera's on.
It's like,
It's on?
Yeah.
it just seems insane to spend so much money on that bike, and the best you can do is just lean it against stuff.
Hey, we gonna talk about hockey, guys? Yeah.
Oh.
So, I'm gonna talk to you guys about hockey. I'm gonna talk about a lot of different things. We're gonna talk about rules and positions, and that's basically, I'm gonna give you the rundown on basically everything what you need to know to watch hockey and like understand what's going on. Then I'll give you a little bit of strategy, very light, L-I-T-E light, because I just like don't necessarily care for it. I don't ever play myself, so the strategy of the actual game itself isn't necessarily something I'm into. So I'll gloss over that with you guys, talk about the stuff that's important. And then we'll talk about the more interesting stuff to me, which is more of like the system behind the league and how everything actually flows as far as where the money goes and how players can be traded and how players are signed in their contracts and stuff like that. Yeah, so let's get started. Ask me questions throughout. Also, if I'm talking too long, you gotta tell me, because I have no concept of time. So, the who and how, let's talk about rules and positions. So, the general goal of hockey, so to speak, is to get more points than the other team, pretty much every sport. Don't allow goals, but also score goals. Harder than it sounds, I promise. So this is what a rink looks like for the most part. We have red line, which is this red line in the middle. We have these blue lines, which are these blue lines right here. And then we have face-off circles, as you can see, the dots around. And we'll go into more of like the specifics of the zones later on. But this is the neutral zone. This is the attacking zone if you're playing where your goal is here. Then this is the attacking zone, this is the defending zone. Very simple. I think you guys can handle it. So some basic rules are you can't just go skating around and passing the puck everywhere you want and just like doing whatever. No, there's some rules that have to be followed. Rule number 1 is icing. So icing is when you are behind this red line. So when I'm talking about these rules, I'm going to be talking such that the zones that are marked here are correct. So if you're skating up here, icing means that the puck goes across this blue line here before any of your players do. This is important because it will prevent injury because people will dump the puck in and then skate in super fast and then crash into the boards to get it. So this prevents that, and there's even a rule where they will call icing before the puck even is touched by anybody. And so what that means is if the puck goes over this line before you do, before any of your players do, then you're fine. If a player goes over the line before the puck does, that's offsides. So for offsides, it's there specifically to prevent people from being able to set up however they want, and it actually makes it hard. You have to like essentially get your puck. I think I messed up these two. That's fine. For offside, you have to get the puck over the line before any of your players. It's not like soccer where there's like, oh, it depends on where the defenders are and stuff like that. It's super simple, super easy. There's the line. You get the puck over the line, and then you can go over the line. That's it. So to clarify for icing, that's if the puck is behind this red line and it gets dumped in past this red line here, then that's icing. I think I messed that up earlier. So you can't dump the puck in past the red line because otherwise everyone's just going to dump the puck in and skate towards it, and then when they all get injured from crashing into the boards, it'll be a big problem. Nobody will be able to play. It's also a delay of game tactic where if you're getting really hit, so to speak, like they're really coming in to score on your team, and you're just frazzled, so to speak. You can't just dump the puck down and have no repercussions. You have to actually skate it past this red line before you can dump the puck into their zone. So that's icing. Offsides was what we talked about. Puck goes over this blue line first, and then there's hand pass. Can't touch the puck with your hand and pass it. You also can't play the puck with your stick if your stick is over your shoulder. These are some basic rules about like conduct on the ice. You have to have some set of rules. These are like you see them and you're like, ah, yes, I know that that's a part of the game. It's like what you can't do, so to speak. Penalties. These are like if somebody's actually out of line. So there's like, you know, if you have these rules and somebody breaks one of these rules, they blow the whistle and it gets dropped and there's a face-off, which we can talk about. But with penalties, these are like, if you do any of these, the player that committed the infraction goes to the box, to the penalty box. So if you commit slashing, you commit tripping. So slashing is when you hit another player's stick with your stick. Usually it has to break, otherwise they don't care. If you hit it really hard, they'll be like, yo. Or if you hit their body with your stick, like in an aggressive way, then that's slashing. Tripping, obvious. Interference is if you try to check somebody or like interfere with what they're doing without them having the puck. So if I have the puck and then I pass the puck away from myself, and now it's left me, and then you check me, that's considered to be interference. So you can only check someone that's hitting them when they have the puck. Boarding is if somebody is against the boards, so pretend we're playing some hockey here, I've got this stick, and I'm in the boards here, and someone comes from behind me and actually checks me into the boards, such that my head goes into the boards. That's boarding. If it's really, really bad, they'll call it a check from behind, and that's usually identified by whether or not you were checked on the numbers of the jersey. So you can see the numbers on their jersey on the back. If you check somebody in the numbers of their jersey, then you are generally checking from behind. That can be a game misconduct, which means you get 5 minutes of your team being down a player. You're gone for another 10 minutes, and then you're also ejected from the game. I don't even know how the gone for another 10 minutes. They put 15 minutes of penalty minutes on your record. Your team is down for 5 minutes, and you don't get to play for the rest of the game. So, like, that's a really bad penalty because it's a very big safety issue. Some other penalties after boarding are cross-checking, is if you take your stick like this and you hit somebody with it like that, then that hurts a lot. We don't like people to do that. People do it all the time, and sometimes they call it penalty. And charging is if you take more than 5 strides before checking something. I think it's 5. Yeah. Which basically is like, you have to be going really fast. So you have to kind of slow down before you check someone. You can't just go all out and hit them. Everybody would be injured, it'd be terrible. Elbowing, obvious. And those are all minor penalties unless there's blood. If there's blood, it's 4 minutes. So minor penalty, 2 minutes. I also forgot high sticking, which is a pretty common one. If you hit somebody above their shoulders with your stick, it's high sticking. Or above their shoulders with your stick. Then it's high sticking. And usually it's like people get hit in the face with the stick. And if there's blood, 4 minutes. So 2 minutes if there's no blood, 4 minutes if there is blood. And then if it's a major penalty, which is either like the ref deems it that whatever you did is so bad that you deserve a major penalty. Some of these will accompany a game misconduct, stuff like that. Or if you fight, or the check from behind that I talked about earlier. Here we can see 2 players having a scrap. That's going to get them both 5 minutes in the box. But their team won't be down a player. It won't be playing 4-on-4. So you have 5 players on each team with a goalie. So 6 total per team. And if you have a penalty that is that you have committed the infraction, you go to the box. Usually it's 4v5. That's the whole point. 2 minutes versus 4 versus 5. You have that much time that your player is sitting in the penalty box and not playing hockey. So in the case that you actually do commit the penalty, that's like the worst part, is that you're down. What's up?
What's the average number of penalty minutes per game?
I would say not very high, maybe like average 10 to 20 minutes. Charlie's nodding, so yeah. Charlie, call me on my bullshit if I say anything wrong. Yeah, like I forgot high sticking. Yeah.
So you might cover this later on, but how does the substitution work? So every single time, like, it passes the red line or something, everyone like goes out, and I don't know how the hell they coordinate that. I'm just curious to see if you knew why.
Oh, so you're talking about when all of the lines change? Are you-
Maybe.
Are you
I
talking
don't even
about
know
the
what I'm
lines
talking
here?
about.
So if they skate it up past the red line and dump it in,
Uh-huh.
which is something that happens all the time. So if you're
Like
on
when
the
you're
other
down
side-
a player, right?
What?
When you're down a player, you just want to dump it down there, right? And then.
Oh, if you're on a penalty, then that means that you're 4v5 and you can't commit icing. They waive icing calls.
Oh.
So when you have 4 players or less and they have 5, if you're down a player like that, shorthanded is what they call it, then you can dump it down the ice, no problem. That's not a penalty because it's not delay a game because reasons they've deemed it. I don't know. And then also, if you skate it past the red line, you see this happen all the time. You skate it past the red line, dump it in, or if you're on a penalty and it's anywhere and you dump it in, they might go for a line change and they coordinate people who are coming off. The coach will actually tell you what line is going out. And then you kind of sit on the boards, and as people come in, you come off. It's actually harder than it looks to coordinate, and people mess it up all the time. That's another kind of penalty. It's called like a team penalty or a bench penalty, where you have too many players on the ice. So you can only have your 5 skaters and 1 goalie, or 6 skaters total. Those are the 2 options. And if you have more than that at one time, then you no longer, or then you're no longer like valid at that time, and you're going to get a penalty for very similar to delayed game. Yeah, there's another penalty if you flip the puck over the ice without it touching the glass, or over the glass and into the crowd without it touching the glass or anybody else, or like anything like that, then it actually will be considered to be it would be considered to be a delay game.
My friends, by the way.
You're good. Do what you gotta do. You can learn about hockey too. Or maybe you know a ton about hockey and you're here schooling.